Hello, welcome. It is me, Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. This isn't your typical peaceful Taurus New Moon. This one comes with passion, some pressure, and some fiery twists. Also, we have Venus going back into the sign Aries at the end of April, and that will be what I'm covering in this video. I'm also going to tell you how this affects your finances, your love, your relationships, how you socialize, what you naturally attract. Now, there is a T-square. That's why this new moon in Taurus is going to be spicy. I'm going to explain how that is going to be heating up the sky, maybe even shaking your ego and challenging what you are trying to manifest and more. We are going to break it down, me, you. If you have questions, you can add it to it. And I'm going to explain what it all means this week, what you value, your power, our next big move under this new moon in a Taurus. And we also are going to explain how it affects the collective. Of course, all that is going to happen and more.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
So I'm going to tell you the dates. April 21st, we have Saturn conjunct the North Node. On the 23rd, we have the Sun squaring Pluto. Venus is going to conjunct the North Node. On the 24th, we have Venus that's going to conjunct Saturn. On the 26th, we have Mercury pre-shadow phase is going to, is still in a post-shadow phase, retrograde in Aries that ends. And then we have the new moon in Taurus. We have Mars opposing Pluto. And on the 30th, that was on the 29th. And on the 30th, we have Venus entering Aries. If I didn't say the new moon in Taurus is going to be April 27th, I normally have the display of the dates and I didn't create that. But here we are. You are listening to it, and that's fine. We are going to talk about it. If you want it written down, you can sign up for my newsletter. It is always written down there. And also, before we get into it, before we dive into this powerful Taurus new moon and Venus and Aries breakdown, I want to make sure that you are a part of my private astrology and tarot community where we go even deeper in these transits. For the coming up thing, I'm going to do a reading just for this new moon in Taurus, a reading for the collective and an individual reading. Also, too, I have some unedited live sessions there. I have exclusive content. I have collective guidance. I also have ebooks on there. And one ebook that I have that you can purchase, and even if you're not a part of my group, and it basically helps you decode your own birth chart. So if you cannot afford an astrology reading, look at me, I keep twisting. If you can't afford an astrology reading, then this is your chance to do your own. I am very much do it yourself kind of energy. So in this book, it basically breaks down your go-to guide on how to do your reading. I also have other ebooks that if you are a part of my group, the ebook is already included a part of that. If you're not, you can purchase that alone. But what ebooks I have personally to my group, I have the big three. It explains your big three, how to make conversations about your big three, understanding other people with their big three, and that is their sun, moon, and rising. I also have you being compatible with, who are you compatible with, what signs are compatible with each other. And then I have a Venus ebook, and it basically talks about your love language and also to what you are attracted to for as friendships and how you are compatible with friendships. So I have a lot of ebooks available on my group alone, and they all come with the purchase of the monthly subscription. Also, I've did some current readings. Also, let me see, because I don't remember. I have a lot of detailed tarot readings. For example, last week I did a reading on improving your relationship. Also, the best path that you can take on any certain situation when you're in a crossroads. That's also on there from last week. And a reading just on your current situation now, a current situation you are currently going through. That is on there. These are timeless readings. They are in my vault. They are in that group. Lastly, I've also done readings, chart readings, astrology readings on different charts. For example, and I do the kitchen talk in there. Okay, so I very much speak freely. There is no limitations on the things that I say and think within that group. But I broke down Robert F. Kennedy's chart, Gavin Newsom's chart, Karen Bass's chart, Kanye West. I did Blake Lively and more. All that is in the group, and you get that for less than the price of coffee. Okay, so you could be like me where you sign up for like a few months and get all the tea, but I think you're going to want to stick around. So that is what we have. Other than that, if you are here and you want some free stuff, I do have some free stuff linked down below. I also have a tip jar. You can do that. But please subscribe, write a comment, just an emoji. You have no idea how much that helps me and other YouTubers. And I do suggest you do this to anyone who's on YouTube. If you really like their content, if you really like their editing, if you're really getting something out of them, please do not stop the thumbs up, subscribe, and write a comment. It really helps out so much. You have no idea. Okay. So let's get into the astrology of it all, shall we? Now we are going to bring up, let me see, we have a comment here. Hello, Sandra. How are you doing? We are appreciating all your angel work, Carmelita. Thank you so much, Sandra. That means so much, and I appreciate the comment and the love as well. Okay, so now let's get into the chart. I'm doing this kind of late, and then I have to pick up my daughter. Usually, my son, I try to get my son to do it, but he cannot do it. Football season, I guess, is the prep for it. It's like he has a life, the audacity. Anyway, but yeah, so let's get started. We are going to talk about Saturn, which is happening today. And I've already discussed this, but it is what it is. I am filming this live, and it is April 21st at 1 p.m., 1:22 p.m. on a Monday. Okay. And currently, what you see here is you have this conjunction here. You have this triple conjunction at 26 degrees. 26 degrees is a Taurus degree. So you're talking about finances. You could be dealing with something with money, income, things that you value. But this triple conjunction is dealing with important life lessons. It's talking about being responsible. And now you're really being responsible, maybe responsible in relationships, maybe even responsible with your inner peace and harmony, grounding your dreams, facing your fears, building some healthy boundaries. This energy is about long term. When you have Saturn involved, it's about long term. When you have Pisces, you're talking about spirituality. You're talking about even love. You're talking about inner healing. You're talking about healing across the board. You're talking about forgiving and releasing. And now Saturn is there, and it's like, okay, let's be serious. We are not going to live in Delulu land. So you have that. Also, you have boundaries. You have the energy of thinking long term, and you're being productive. Things are really going to turn. You're putting in the work. There's details involved here. Now, when you have the North Node are things that we're supposed to be achieving within this lifetime. So now this is like your true calling. What is your fate? So now you're being serious about your fate, and you're being serious about your fate in regards to things that you are not having boundaries on, things regarding love and creativity. Venus is also involved here, right? And when you have Venus, now you have the element of harmony, relationships, open enemies, contracts, things that are dealing with the law, things that are about justice, and yeah, also romance. Okay, so you all have that. Venus also is what you naturally attract, so you could be dealing with some finances as well, but manifesting with discipline, growth with challenges, commitment to a spiritual path, feeling restricted or limited, because conjunctions are good and bad. What they are is strong. Okay, so when you have a conjunctions, you don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but I do know for a fact it's going to be strong. You are talking about the energies are now emerged, and they are hugging. So what are you in fear of? Because Saturn does represent things that you fear. With that Pisces energy is about fear. It's about releasing this and letting go. Okay, it's also about embracing some harmony. What brings you balance in your life? Okay, so you could be feeling restricted or limited, and now, or you could have a fear of something, because that Saturn does represent that fear with that Pisces energy. So there is a fear of something about a relationship or your inner balance and harmony. Feeling restricted or limited, difficulties in setting boundaries could be a thing. Okay, increased fear and anxiety, struggle with escapism. Pisces represents, and I'm doing this because I'm really talking about this stallion here, and that Pisces energy represents escapism and not wanting to deal with the reality of things. Now Saturn is sitting there, so it wants you to deal with the reality of things today. Okay, so serious energy, serious energy about long term, serious energy about love and compassion. Pisces is very empathetic, it's very compassionate, it brings charity. So you have all that. Okay, I'm feeling burdened by compassion could be happening. Challenges in manifesting, facing difficult karmic lessons, because that Saturn represents your karma. The North Node represents your karma, and feeling overwhelmed by emotions. You guys could be very emotional today. People who are dealing with all this Pisces energy, if you have placements in the late of Pisces, this could be affecting you. If you are dealing with Virgo energy and you have Virgo placements and it's in the late placements, this also could be affecting you, right? And you're talking about things that you're supposed to be releasing, and this could be a thing of releasing because you have that South Node affecting you as well. And then also, that I heard a noise. What could be squaring or are my mutable signs? So you're talking about my Geminis, any late placements. This is going to be a tug of war for you. And my Sagittarius, any late placements. This is all going to be affecting you. And this triple conjunction, which I think is powerful if you really use it. This is going to work really well about forgiveness. This is about forgiving. This is about releasing all that. It could be happening for you in the love of compassion. Now, let me see what else we have here on the 23rd. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so on the 23rd, it gets really interesting. Okay, there is, if you paid attention to my introduction, I'm really talking about a T-square. If you don't know what that means, it's fine. This is going to affect the new moon that we have in Taurus coming up this week. This is affecting the sun. The sun is in Taurus, and it's going to be affecting our ego and our vitality and us trying to achieve things. Also affects Pluto. Okay, so let me just explain. So the sun is in Taurus. Happy solar return to all my Taurus. I think I addressed that last week. But the sun is squaring, has a T-square with Mars and Leo, and it has a T-square with Pluto and Aquarius. Okay, now it's exactly squaring Pluto and Aquarius, but it doesn't matter. This is 1 degree off. Doesn't matter. It's there. Okay, so you have the sun squaring Pluto. You have the sun squaring Mars. The sun, our life, our vitality, it's shining a bright light on, and it's the apex, meaning that these things are focused on this. Mars and Pluto are focused on this, okay? So it's squaring Mars and it's squaring Pluto, and these two things are opposing each other. They can't see eye to eye. When you have a square, that means that things are challenging. There is tension, okay? The sun in Taurus is at the apex of the T-square. This is also very fixed energy. Fixed is very stubborn. It's tense. It's unmovable. It's also very powerful. It's resistance of change in their own way. It's when you are forced to be moved. And sometimes that square is like, okay, it's time to change. And it's like, I don't want to change. So that element is added to it. And it can have a high intensity, especially when Pluto enters the party. Okay, Pluto is all about intensity. This T-square is going to represent things of power, pride, control, financial tensions, social rebellion, freedom of speech, and leader ego clashes. Okay. Now, the sun in Taurus is about what you value. And when you have Taurus, it's about what you value, your ownership, self-worth. It's about money, stocks, the voice as well, and your personal identity, because you are talking about Taurus. And Pluto is very intense, and it's in the sign Aquarius. This is where all the people are rebelling and striking, boycotting. That's that Pluto in Aquarius. And then also you have technology and social media and the influencers. This is the problem with the freedom of speech when they're saying that's anti-Semitic. The college can't say that. That is Pluto in Aquarius. When you have problems with X, when you have problems on Instagram, TikTok, all those things, that is Pluto in Aquarius. Also, Pluto in Aquarius represents groups. It represents innovation, technology, and the future, and airlines and airplanes. That's that Pluto in Aquarius. I did a whole video on Pluto in Aquarius alone. If you really want to know more about that, this really piques your interest, go ahead and check that out. It's in my 2025 playlist. Okay. But this is also dealing with things that are Pluto as intensity. First of all, it also adds transformation and a rebirth, but it's hidden manipulations from systems that are dealing with the collective, and it's disruption with rebellion and destruction of outdated system. Aquarius, which I did a video recently on everything Aquarius. I think I did a really great job on that video. But everything Aquarius, which also can help you understand Pluto better. In that video, I basically explained how Aquarius, first of all, is very fixated on a thought. It doesn't want to change. If there's something like a Terrence Howard who thinks 1 + 1 equals, I don't know what he said. One times 1 equals, I don't know what he said. I can't even fathom the thought, but he said something and he's very fixated on this idea. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying if he's right or wrong. What I'm explaining to you is how they're stuck on the idea and they're very future forward thinking. So Pluto and Aquarius adds intensity to that. Okay. So get ready for that. Okay. But beyond that, we're talking about this issue here. And we have Mars entering the party. So that's Pluto and Aquarius alone. We talked about the sun in Taurus alone. Now, Mars and Leo. This is all about the celebrities, okay? This is also about your ego. And who is in charge of Mars. Well, the ruler of Mars is the sun, and it's not getting along. The sun is the ruler of Leo. That's the sign it's into. But Leo is all about the ego. It's all about the celebrities. It's like, everyone look at me. It's very dramatic and it's very confrontational. It loves conflict. Okay, explosive willpower, clashes, dramatic action. It's like, I need to be seen. I need to be admired. I need to win. This is a Leo is a sign of athletes. Aries are a sign of athletes, but here we are, and Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's very something dealing with athletes could be a problem here, okay? But this could bring aggression anytime it's trying to move forward to achieve things, okay? Now, let's talk about this T-square. Clashes between stability and transformation, because remember I told you that Pluto represents transformation. Now there is a clash. Anytime you have Mars and the sun doing something negative together, it's power struggles. This is man on man violence, okay? But you could be a woman, but this is the energy. I don't know how else to explain it, but a lot of machismo, strong energy, and it's like, I'm not giving up. I'm fighting for a better cause, okay? So power struggles over resources, because you are talking about that Taurus energy, and your personal values are materialistic things that you really value. So that could be happening, okay? Resistance to change, because you are talking about fixed energy. I need to take a sip of water. Hold on. Transformation of your sense of security. Oh my gosh, your finances, what you feel secure in, and that may have to change, okay? Tension between your personal needs and collective demands. The collective energy is dealing with that. Aquarius is about the people, okay? Asserting your will amongst powerful forces. Potential for intense conflicts. I've said that, just reworded it, okay? This is where your comfort zone is. Taurus is like, it wants to be comfortable. If you know what Taurus, they're like, oh, let's be cozy, let's be comfortable. And that's where the sun is. But now there is a challenge between transformation, our intensity, and a challenge in your drive. Okay. So that could be a big thing. Let me see. Tensions between holding on and letting go, between seeking security and embracing necessary upheaval. A lot of drama, a lot of ego clashes, push to move, push to make a statement. Aquarius likes to communicate. And now it's like, come on, you got to talk. You got to talk this out. That could be happening too. Navigating multiple conflicts. This T-square means that you're dealing with conflicts on multiple fronts as well. Okay. Just along, if we talk about the Mars squaring the sun, remember I told you it's really about power struggles anytime you see this, or anytime it's negative or opposing. But you have stubborn pride, you have unshakable willpower, you have my way or the highway, that kind of energy, okay? Creative tensions between self-worth and self-expression, because the Leo likes to express itself, and it's all about the self-worth with the Taurus, okay? So the values of comfort and security and loyalty and stability and control over your own space are things that you value, and your resources and your money. It's strong and it's steady, and it's like, I don't want to change, and I'm very cautious with changing, right? And at Mars and Leo, it's like, I want to be bold, I want to be dramatic, I want to be prideful. It's the sign of the lion at Leo, right? And it thrives on, again, the performance, the recognition, and it's threatened when things are questioning the ego, okay, or matters of the heart, because that's what Leo also represents, okay? So this square alone is the ego versus willpower. It's the pride of the collision pride. It's motivation versus resistance, okay? Let's go, but you're resisting. Let's do this, but your resistance, okay? Creative drive with tension, okay? The square can push you to have some blocks of expressing yourself boldly with a purpose, okay? Passive aggressive, stubbornness, I said that, explosive frustrations. Yeah, okay. Let me see what else. I said power struggles. Okay, so what is this? What could this look like alone here? This energy here alone. This can look like it could be dealing with some finances. I don't know how many times to say that, but Taurus represents the stocks. You see that bull sitting in front of the stocks exchange? That is because that is Taurus, letting you know this is what we represent. Okay. It also represents a showdown, not a represent, but there's also a showdown between someone trying to be on stage. Everyone look at me. And power. Leo also represents leaders. Okay. The sun represents leaders, presidency. We'll talk about Trump a little bit later, okay? Needing to defend your value, conflicts between what you want to hold on to, that Taurus, and what needs to evolve and be released. That's that Pluto in Aquarius, because the Pluto in Aquarius is like, okay, I understand the old system, but we need to update it. And the Taurus is like, I don't want to update. but is there's something that needs to be updated, and it needs to be dramatic. Okay. Your core self is in the hot seat, tension on your stability and values, forced to assert your identity, defining your role amidst conflict, potential for identity challenges, and a need to ground your energy. Some finances that could be a big thing, not finances, some global predictions that could be happening is that there could be some financial disruptions. Again, stocks, tariffs, this could be representing that. Of course, we have issues with the economy already. If you didn't know, I did a whole reading on Trump's president chart and how it's going to look for the next 4 years. Well, it's a Taurus rising, so this involves that energy. Leadership with drama, a lot of drama with leadership, tech and versus traditions. So you have the AI, you have the internet, you have social media, you have digital freedom. Also, too, I'm like, no, because I'm thinking Elon. No, Elon has got his Mars. He has a Mars in Aquarius, and that is at late degree. So it may not be affecting him, but a lot of protesting and uprising that could be happening as well. Yeah, anything dealing with earth related issues, like climate change. Leo represents heat and hot. Usually, when we have a Mars in Leo, we are talking about fires, especially around LA. Pluto is the pressure. So it could be earthquakes, could be heat waves, or like scarcity of resources. That could be a possibility too. So self-worth versus your external validation, a lot of energy with money and your passions. Okay, again, power struggles across the board. We have this energy still over here. The moon is in Pisces. A lot of people are in Delulu land when it comes to relationships, are very emotional when it comes to this energy. So all that is still going on as we deal with this TSquare. Okay, again, creative block, and this is also dealing with creativity as well. Family or group pressure, you feel pulled between your family values, that's that Taurus, and your personal dream, that's that Leo, and a pressure to conform to a community. The narrative of what is TikTok saying, what is social media saying, what is the public saying, because the Aquarius does represent the people. So all that could be an issue. You don't have to pick sides to find your own boundaries. That's what I say. Okay, now how to work with this energy. Don't react impulsively. Ask, is this aligning what I truly value? Channel Leo Mars, right? You could be courageous, you could be authentic, but however, let go of the ego, drop the ego, let go of control, Pluto, that keeps you stuck in fear or people pleasing. Use Taurus to stay rooted and make decisions to protect your peace and power. Okay. The same day, again, we have that Venus is conjunct that North Node. Again, remember that your soul journey is aligned here. Okay. And there's destiny through compassion. There's spirituality relationships being developed or happening at the same time. A lot of artistry energy, a lot of purpose, a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy. Okay. Venus, that same day, because we have this conjunction all happening, and then we have that moon in in Pisces as well. So the emotions are heavily involved. This is going to be a big one too. This is the same time as we're dealing this TSquare. So we have the challenge of the ego with the rebellion, and this could be affecting the collective and not necessarily you. You may be just watching this on the news. However, this could be affecting you personally. It depends on your Pisces placements. It depends on if you have placements in any of the mutable signs. So Gemini and Sagittarius, and also Virgo, what I said earlier too. Now, for us, this TSquare, this is going to affect all my Taurus, early placement Taurus, all my placements that are early in Leo, all my placements that are early in Pluto, and all my placements that are early in Scorpio. Okay, so that's the added bonus with this TSquare. You guys are probably already feeling this a little bit now, these things that I'm saying, because think about it. If we start off with Monday is just 1 degree off. It's already squaring. So we already have the issue. Okay. Anyway, but back to this Venus, back to this conjunction, because I didn't talk about just these two alone. I think I really just talked about these two. Okay. But the North Node is about your soul's growth, your collective direction, faded encounters, karmic evolution, Pisces, dreams, alcohol, escapism, your intuition, unconditional love, creativity, forgiveness, surrendering, letting go. The end also represents death and feet too, right? Spirituality as well. But this could be a soulmate kind of encounter with a love interest, or someone who is a friend who's going to bring something that's supposed to help you with your karma, or something that's supposed to help you in your destiny. Okay. This is elevated love language too, or this is realizing there's confusion in there, because that Pisces does represent that Delulu with love too. Creative destiny, value shift toward the soulful, towards yourself, or like your divine guided energy. This makes me divinely guided. Makes me think of a conversation my brother was talking about spirituality. Very interesting. Anyway, healing through love, forgiving, and reconnecting. You could be attracting someone who's going to help you with some healing, some creativity, or some spirituality. You also could be in Delulu land. Okay, that Pisces brings a little fog, and also that moon is going to make you very emotional. Realizing your talents in the spiritual, artistic, or helpful profession. Now, listen, with this energy, with that water energy over here, this Pisces energy, I find it is just best to tap into your dreams. Conversations may not be very clear because Pisces is not good with words, even though we don't have Mercury here. Mercury's over here in Aries and is being very blunt, but it's sitting next to Neptune. Neptune is again is like Pisces, is making things very confusing. So this week, I just want you to be aware that your words may not be very well articulated. Okay, so you have to go off of the feeling. All right, so when a person tells you the answer is no, but their body language and everything else is telling you yes, listen to the body language, listen to your feeling, listen to what you are seeing versus what you are hearing. Now, it could be a messing up your sight as well. But it is not the feeling. Your intuition is always going to be correct anytime you're dealing with Pisces energy. Okay. Now, on the 24th, I talked about the Venus conjunction. So, the big thing of this week is this triple conjunction and this TSquare. I want you to understand that. So you got a challenge of the ego. You got Pluto over there likes to be intense, and it likes to have a lot of power. So a lot of issues of power struggle. And then you sitting here with this triple, not triple, the stallion in Pisces of emotions and love. And yeah, so I think I talked about all that. But if we just talk about Venus and Saturn alone, you are talking about, why is my thing not clicking? Hold up. Why is this not moving forward? Sometimes my notes doesn't want to cooperate. Hold up, wait a minute. I'm on the 23rd. Did I say the 23rd? I said the 23rd already. Now we're on the 24th. Yes, here we go. So Venus conjunct that Saturn. I just want to bring this back up again because it's in my notes and it's later in my notes, but just a little bit more detail. It could be meaning also restrictions in love, or serious about your inner peace and your harmony and long-term commitment. That Saturn does represent long-term. Again, confusion. Saturn also represents older people. Okay. So you could be in love with an older person, or thinking more long term with your love. Now, Venus also represents the law, justice, and fairness. So that can be also playing a part, and it's like your karma's coming for you, Blake Lively. That could very much be happening, and things that were in the darkness could be bringing to the light, or the people are understanding. Yeah, because that Pisces does represent things that are hidden. But themes of this is also grounded creativity, boundaries, and love. Why is okay? Boundaries and love. Why is this? This is annoying me. Hold up. Wait a minute. It's just stuck. For some reason, it's just stuck. Okay, here we go. Boundaries and love, commitment to real love, beauty with discipline, financial reality check, because Venus is about your finances. Saturn is like, I'm serious. Okay. Also, too, Pisces represents sacrifices. So you could be sacrificing a lot about your harmony. Okay. Yeah, but commitment to a relationship, or commitment if you are single. This could be a commitment to yourself because it's all about inner harmony. That Pisces energy wants to be healed, wants to release, wants to end something. Okay. That also is a possibility. Now, far as what is going on? Why is my thing not working? This is crazy. Am I going to have to write down my notes? Oh my gosh. Let me see. It's not clicking. I don't know if you guys use Notion, but I'm using Notion. And for some reason, sometimes the buttons don't click. Okay. So now finally, Mercury post shadow phase retrograde, it ends. Okay. For a lot of you guys, you're like, what? That means that now things are very clear. You're not going to be as argumentative. Okay. You can make bold communication, your fast decision making, there's direct truth telling, there's fearless mental clarity. So if you text something and you have to reiterate. That's that Mercury was still retrograding energy. Okay, these are things about like you set this and now you have to repeat it, or you have to redo it, or you have to remind people. There's a redoing here, and now it's finally ending. It's going to end April 26th, so that brings some clarity on a lot of communication. Okay, this is also dealing with what is going on. Oh my gosh, it's Mercury is still retrograding as I am filming this, so my technology doesn't want to work. Okay. Key things is that you can have a green light in energy for as projects, conversations, contracts, anything that would like to fine print. Okay. If you're supposed to get an email, it was like, where's my email? That's going to be clearing up around April 26th. And Aries moves fast. Aries also represents sports. Aries also represents things that are first. It represents yourself. So all that could be happening. You can speak it like you mean it. So there's no more fog, no more hesitation. You're thinking and speaking with confidence and urgency. The rumors that were happening in regards to the self, in regards to new starts, in regarding a strong female leader, or a strong, not strong female leader, a strong leader. Aries represents leader. All that is going to help balance that out. The rumors will stop rumoring. Okay. Lessons from this retrograde is to integrate. You know what you wait. You know what you know. No, you now know what or who isn't worth your time. Okay. It's all about yourself and processing information about yourself and what's really being called for you to do. What are you really here to focus about? It's really selfish energy, but it's good selfish energy. Okay. Watch for impulsive energy though, because that Aries is very impulsive. Watch for being harsh, because Aries is very blunt and harsh, and overcorrecting, trying to undo everything. Okay. Because now that Mercury is out of that retrograde energy, you may be like, well, let me redo everything. Calm down. Okay. Could be a little impulsive and aggressive. Now let's talk about this moon here. Let me actually put it on here. This, we will put this here. This is the new moon chart, okay? There's a lot of things, okay? This can represent luxury goods with China for sure. We'll look into that. Later on this week, I am going to do, if I don't do the monthly, next month's chart, April, May, if I don't do May, then it will be on the current events. And I haven't researched anything about the women going to space. A lot of people are saying that is a lie. We'll get into that. Also, I want to research China. Now, I did a video on tariffs, so go ahead and check that out. But, we'll just do it on TikTok and China and all these luxury goods. This is very fitting for Taurus energy because it loves the luxury goods here, okay? Anyway, but so this might be affected with that. Not might be. This could be more information. We'll get more on that. It's at 7 degrees, which is a Taurus degree. Again, this is double energy about the finances. Wait, no, not Taurus degree. I wrote Taurus degree, Libra degree. So this is all about, again, it could be luxury goods. Also, it could be about your relationships, partnerships, and harmony, and also law related things. Okay. Let me see. We have a TSquare. This new moon is TSquare, which I've discussed, but we'll get into it a little bit later. We also need to look at the ruler of the new moon and what it's doing. And the ruler of the new moon is Venus. So I've discussed that. And what Venus is over there doing is very serious. Okay. It's over there very serious and it's thinking long term. Also, it could be very pessimistic. I don't think I talked about the negativity of that. We'll get into that with this new moon. But anytime you just have a new moon in Taurus, first of all, new about manifesting. So this is happy. Okay. This conjunction is very happy. The sun is shining a bright light on your emotions. And this is the start of a moon cycle here. It's grounded, new beginnings, manifesting abundance, reconnecting your values, slowing down because Taurus wants to move very slow, like all the earth signs, to build something long lasting, rooting intentions in physical world. Now, it is saying, what am I building? And is it worth it in the long run? Okay. This is about planting the seeds. Taurus energy is the earth sign, wants to be outside, but this is literally planting the seeds and energy of long-term security, self-worth, financial growth, and emotional peace. Okay. Perfect things you can manifest for is your finances and your money, the goals. Also beauty regimens, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So you can be trying to figure out how can you look better physically. Yes, physically. It's fine. Okay. Self-care. Also, body confidence also is a thing with this. Healthy routine and habits, property, land, and business building, self-worth, inner peace. That is also something you can manifest. And who doesn't want to manifest in that? Self-worth and inner peace. Sustainable love and relationships as well. New moon Taurus rituals you can do is write down some tangible goals that you want to build over the next 6 months. Tangible means things you can touch. Okay. I want physical cash. It could be about banks and stocks too. I don't think you can touch that, but things that are going to give you tangible results, like your home, bread, food. Okay. Yeah. So you can do that, or you could do a vision board. Anytime you have a new moon, you can create a vision board and focus on comfort, beauty, and security. Security could be living in a safer community. Comfort could be like, I'm living in a chaotic environment and I just want to be comfortable and safe, right? So that could be happening. Or I want my home to be beautiful, or I want to be more beautiful. That can also be happening too. What else we have here? You can plant something, and something that you literally want to see grow. So like planting a seed for your business, okay? Planting something literal. That is something you can also, or maybe even a garden, right? Literally a garden. Okay. Cook a grounding meal with intentions. You can do that. You can plant literally a seed, or like I said, you can say, like, okay, I'm going to start this project for it to happen long term. That can actually be a ritual. Do a money altar or self-worth journaling session as well. Okay. Affirmations for this new moon in Taurus is: I attract what aligns with my worth. I grow at my own pace, rooted and steady. The last affirmation I have is: I create a life of beauty, abundance, and peace. Now, again, remember I told you this is a 7. I keep going to the 7th house because this is in 7 degrees. That is a Libra degree. So this new moon is all going to be is going to be about fairness, harmony, law, business, partnerships, fashion, beauty, charm, luxury items, music, and art, creativity. Okay. All that is going to play a part within this new moon in Taurus. This new moon in Taurus is going to affect all my Taurus signs in an early degree, all of my Scorpio signs. In early degree. This is also going to affect, challenge my Leos, early degree, challenge my Aquarius, early degree. It's going to work really, really well with all my earth signs. Okay. So Virgos, this is going to work well with you, and all of my Capricorns, this is going to work well for you. Okay. So this new moon will look at the Sabian symbol. If you don't know what the Sabian symbol, I do Sabian symbol kind of situations. Hold on, let me see what else we hear. Okay, first, I'm reading the comments. We're appreciating all your angel work. Oh, okay, I read that one. And then I'm an Aries, Taurus, Scorpio. Oh wow. So this is all involving you, Aries and Taurus. This is going to be affecting you. If you're born, Sandra wrote, born in Mercury retrograde. If you're born with Mercury retrograding on your chart, that means that when Mercury retrogrades out in the sky, you can work with that energy because you're comfortable with it. You were born with it, so it doesn't affect you as much. Still in the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde till Mercury retrogrades. Yes. Let me see. Retrograde until April 21st today. Okay. Is that when Mercury stops retrograding? I think my notes are not moving. Oh, this is annoying. I'm pretty sure, because my notes are not working, that Mercury is still in the post shadow phase. I'm still in the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde till April 21st today. Let me see if we go here, because this is how you can also tell for anyone who is new to astrology. Okay, so if we go to when Mercury retrogrades, here, let me put when Mercury previously. So I'm just going to show you guys when Mercury, and if you're listening, yeah, you can listen too. Okay. Is this Mercury turns direct? When did Mercury retrograde? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Mercury started to retrograde at 9 degrees in Aries. So that means when it returns to 9 degrees in Aries, that's when it will finish. So I need to remove this. Sorry. I'm talking and thinking at the same time, and I couldn't do it. So that means when Mercury hits 9 degrees, is at 4 degrees. That means it will be done. So April 25th is when it will be done. The degree that it started to retrograde, which I just showed you, was at 9 degrees. So it needs to come back to that degree to fully be out of the post shadow phase retrograde. Okay. So that's what you have there. Now back to this new moon. Let me see, recently used. Let me go to this new moon here. So back to this new moon in Taurus, I want to explain that its Sabian symbol is 8 degrees in Taurus. That's what you look at. You round up. It's at 7 degrees in Taurus, so we round up. And when you have this, this is a sleigh without snow. And the key word is sustainment. So this means that this is going to be a big part of this new moon, okay? The magic is of believing. The sleigh is your potential tools and preparation. The snow is divine timing, environmental support, or energetic flow. Sometimes faith is fuel. Not everything moves in visible momentum. Okay, let me break this down. The symbol speaks to having faith that anything is possible and refusing to fall victim to the idea that everything is congruent or contingent. Sorry, not congruent. It's contingent on happening of some prior event, or that there is only one way to get the job done. A sleigh without snow. How can you move a sleigh without snow? How can it move? And it's like here, don't just have faith. Don't just think like, oh, I can't use the sleigh if there's no snow. The image of the sleigh without snow suggests obstacles and difficulties to the person who accepts limitation. Yet this symbol loses to magic and the power of imagination. I'm sure loses is not the word. It's just that I was voice speaking while reading, and that's what happens. It just makes its own words. Or maybe I'm not articulating well. But this symbol speaks to magic and the power of imagination. The challenges this degree is in recognizing that the nature is generous. Okay, the challenge with this degree is not realizing that nature is very generous and that we have resources and there's a lot of alternatives and a lot of solutions with achieving our goal. On a positive side, it is our highest, this symbol on a highest level represents creativity and magical ability to make wishes come true and a knack for being at the right time, being there at the right time. It's about divine timing. Okay. So it's like using God gave you the sleigh, but there is no snow. And you're like, oh, well, there's no snow. I can't do it. Well, then this new moon's not going to work for you. But if you're like, I'm very resourceful and I believe in divine timing, this would 100% work for you. Okay. Now, the negative is believing all events are destined acceptance of disappointment as one's lot in life. So you just being negative, Nancy, then you're not going to get the benefits. So everyone needs to be positive. Everyone needs to have faith during this new moon. Even though we're dealing with that TSquare, there needs to be positivity. Risk against accepting defeat too easily by telling yourself and others that things just weren't meant to be, and avoiding rejection possible solutions. Avoiding like, I don't want to be rejected. That's not going to work. Okay. You need to have faith. You need to use magic. You need to believe in miracles. This is about transcendence over difficulties, using your imagination. I really believe this is going to be about being resourceful. Remember, we have that creativity element, that Libra element here. Leo represents creativity. Okay. And it's going to be intense because you have to think outside of the box with Aquarius. So I think that creativity and out of the box things are going to be affected with this new moon. Pisces, okay, let's look at the ruler. The ruler of the new moon. So we talked about the Sabian symbol. The ruler of the new moon is in Pisces. I've explained what it's doing. It's over here. It could either be very pessimistic, it's living in fear, or it could be very serious and thinking long term and boundaries. And it's gone through the test, or you're testing your loved ones. And then it's got karma. And this is all about your destiny and your future. Okay. All that is dealing with this, your soul direction, destiny, evolutionary growth, the structure, responsibility, maturity, fear, negativity. And Venus is exalted here, meaning it really likes to be here. in the sign Pisces, and it's dreamy, it's intuitive, it's mystical, it's very feminine energy. Okay, so all that is happening, and this means that this new moon is going to be grounded energy. It's going to be dealing with your finances and your self-worth. Very strong with that. Emotional peace and sensational pleasures and long-term values, the seeds and the patience and the care and the self-love and the empathy, all is going to be affected with this new moon. A lot of magic, because you have Pisces dealing with magic. If you didn't know, it represents all that. And then let me see. My thing can move. Romantic, artistic, or financial opportunities may arrive, like you're meant to be, with this. And let me see what else I have. Values that match your destiny. Yeah. Also, too, I wanted to say that this can affect this TSquare and this new moon with this TSquare could be affecting, again, stocks, but also cryptocurrency. Aquarius represents the future. Taurus represents wealth. So the future and wealth. Also, Aquarius and Pluto are representing the social media, the influencers, especially the really popular ones who are like very dramatic. All that could be affected during this. This will be a lot of freedom of speech too is what you have there. So this could be a lot of people losing money when people are trying to speak freely about something or are doing something on social media. Rebellions, boycotts, fighting for the less fortunate, all that is involved with this. That Mars and Leo is doing. You guys, I have no swig. Do you see? I keep swaying and I can't stop. Anyway, I'm trying to not sway, but I really want to. Anyway, but that Mars in Leo is also about celebrities, children, matters of the heart, presidents, leaders, athletes. Yeah, all that. Okay, let me see what else we have here. This is insane. Why? Maybe I use Notion too much. Maybe that's why it doesn't want to move. It's very bizarre. Is it loading? Let me see if I can look it up on here, because that is annoying me to no end. Let me see. No. I said the boycotts. Okay, this new moon in Taurus could be wanting peace, stability, sensuality, and growth, but it has the pressure of that Mars in Leo. So, things that you're going to want to manifest is going to bring some pressure to you. So be aware of that, you guys. Let me see. I'm reading Carmelita. You are so right on. Let me see. Phase, you can tell it's affecting my broken thoughts. Sentence structure, can't write a coherent sentence, as you can see. Yes, yes, about the pre-shadow phase, the post-shadow phase. Yes. Also too, with this new moon in Taurus, I forgot to say that there is going to be some pressure here. So I want you to be aware of that. Pluto, with that Pluto and that Mars, there's pressure with your pride and ego and performance and your raw willpower. And again, struggles with power. I just can't reiterate that enough. This new moon is going to be struggling with a lot of power, collective control, deep transformation as well. We want to feel secure. There's an urge to act boldly, but we have a pressure to evolve and to change the system. Maybe it's for the collective as well. Themes for this. I'm like, is this not moving? Themes for this new moon in Taurus is rebuilding after a burnout, power versus pressure, creative power and soul purpose, tensions around resources and values and ownership, ego detox and rerouting energy. Let me see. I'm thinking about long-term energy too. So people who might be affected from this new moon. I was looking at Emmanuel Macron. He is the president of France. He has a Taurus moon in his chart. It's at 14 degrees. He also has a Mars in Leo at 11 degrees. So both of these things, him trying to achieve things and his emotions, could be affecting him. We'll see. Also, far as the presidency. Far as like looking at how the president, not actual Trump, but the 4 years within this campaign, new moon is in that first house, and because it's a Taurus rising. The moon is in that first house. Pluto is in that 10th house. So something publicly is transforming in long-term goals. And Mars is in our fourth house of home. So this is clashing with that presidency. It's not working with long-term goals and how it is at home. Whereas Trump alone, that new moon is in his 10th house and it's conjunct his MC. So this new moon is definitely going to affect Trump. Okay. Mars is in that first house and Pluto is in the 7th house. That Pluto could be dealing with JD Vance or any type of open enemies, which is China. So let's see what Trump has to say with this. But it's definitely going to affect Trump. This also could be affecting Lizzo. She has a sun in Taurus at 7 degrees. It could be affecting The Rock. He has a sun in Taurus. And this also could be affecting George Clooney. He has a Mars in Leo. That's what I could look up quickly. Yeah, but that's what we got for politicians. I feel like I didn't do a lot of politicians, but I really want to go in detail and look at China and see what we have there. Okay. Now back to the dates here. And I'm going to go to the 29th, and we're going to close up this month, even though we're dealing with the next week. But the reason why we're closing up this month is because I want to do the monthly May roundup for what we have for the transit. So as of April 29th, what we have here is, again, that Mars being very direct. Let me see. Is that April 29th? It happens actually the 26th when Mars is opposing directly at a perfect degree of Pluto, and then it's at 3 degrees, which is dealing with communication. So something dealing with communication or communities as well. So I think we will see this on X, okay? Whatever plays out for us as leaders. But again, this is something dealing with leaders or ego clashes or some type of rebellion. A lot of people protesting and really being aggressive. Control versus courage, reclaiming power through expression. You have destructive pride and rage, manipulating others. I didn't even say that. Pluto likes to manipulate. Over control. Again, that freedom of speech over social media that could be happening. Public meltdowns or forced dominance or suppressed anger towards explosion, making it build up and boil. Or it could be really creative. There could be a transformation in leadership. Someone could be empowered by their self-expression, and this is very intense, and it causes an intensity towards this. Okay. Now I love to add tarot to anything. So with this TSquare, you get more of a, you know what? Let me pull a card. First, we're going to pull a card on what actually, let me see. What do I have for April? I'm using my let me, before I pull a card. No, I'm going to pull a card. We're going to pull a card on the new moon in Taurus and the TSquare. Okay? The TSquare. Okay. So for the new moon in Taurus, there's going to be a lot of loss in clarity or a lot of clarity within. Singular, like you see it, only no one else sees it. The messages are coming from within. That could be happening. A lot of aha moments with that new moon, but also too, especially when you're seeing that you know, are limiting thoughts too. The Ace of Machetes is in reverse, is what I got for this new moon in Taurus for the collective. But a lot of loss in the sauce far as communication. So let's see how that plays out. When did I say Mercury is out of the shadow phase? Mercury is fully out of his shadow phase. Oh my gosh, you guys, using on the 26th. And then the new moon is on the 27th. So that's interesting how there should be some clarity here, but it may be some confusion happening as well. Anyway, but Ace in Machetes in reverse means that there is a missed opportunity in a communication here. Okay, so let's not do that. Our clarity or the truth. But remember, the ruler of the new moon is in the sign Pisces, and that represents Delulu. Just so you know. Okay. Now, this TSquare is in 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups means that you need to walk away from what no longer serves you. Okay. So the clashes that we are having as a collective, you know, it could mean, you know, walking away from China. Let's see. But it means that it's not working for us anymore, the collective. So we need to walk away. Okay. Walk away. Go over the new challenge. There's going to be a new challenge because there's usually a mountain as you walk away, but that's fine. With challenges, you start to build resilience, you start to persevere, and you build strength. Okay. All right. Now, let me tell you another big doozy that happens this week. And this is a little bit different. Okay. We'll get out of this doom and gloom, but we have Venus and it enters the sign Aries. Okay. Venus in the sign Aries is all about, first of all, Venus represents our finances, our love, our relationships. I'm looking over here in my notes because my notes are not working over here. It's driving me insane. Oh, now it wants to work. Okay. So Venus in Aries represents, Venus alone represents love, relationships, romance, pleasure, beauty, aesthetics, law, art, music, fashion, what you naturally attract, what you desire, your love language, self worth, value. I said relationships, money, luxury, connection, and harmony. Did I say law and harmony? And yes, law and harmony, feminine energy, and like, okay, I give, you receive kind of energy, soft power, feminine power. Okay. Now, Aries represents independence, the self, action, initiative, bold, courage, impulsive, instinct, drive, motivation, competitive, challenge, strength, daredevil, leadership, first. Did I say individual? I said independence. Okay. Assertive, fire, passion, risk taking, fearless, and the warrior spirit. Now, when you have Venus entering Aries, which it was already in Aries, it was retrograding and now it's back. Okay. So now we're going to have some adventure in love. Get ready for that. Romance is going to be fast. You might be falling really fast, head over heels, love at first sight kind of energy. It's very exciting and a little bit wild. Okay. A lot of bold attraction. You're probably going to be drawn to people who are more confident, especially women who are confident. Okay. Also a little bit more competitive. All right. You're going to be attending parties. It's like, oh, this is like who's going to win kind of party. All right. Chasing desire. Venus and Aries likes to pursue, not just being pursued. So you might be making that first move, even though you're not that type. Okay. Impatient romance because you like to fall in love quick. So you're like, let's commit now. I mean, that's more Saturn. Venus is more like let's have fun, but okay. Self love first. This is the energy of you probably had that argument when it was retrograding in Venus and Aries, and now it's back. And now you realize you should leave that partner, and now you should have self love. Focus on loving yourself. Focus on self harmony and balance. You probably didn't realize that loving yourself is actually better, and that Venus being in Aries, back in Aries, is probably going to be like, this is what I was trying to tell you. Okay, fierce feminine energy, very assertive, very flirtatious, a lot of fire, passion over perfection. Beauty is about impact, not about symmetry, because that Venus likes to have it perfect. But Aries is moving too fast. This also could be a love as a battlefield. Get ready for the arguments when you're dealing with partnerships. If you're at a party, yes, get ready for that. Or maybe attracting money really fast, or maybe attracting money in a new way that could be happening. Initiating a creative project, setting boundaries through boldness, teaching others how to love you by showing how powerful you are. Okay. On a personal level, again, this is about your romance, your romances, okay, your loved ones, craving independence in relationship, being impulsive when it comes to spending, being a risk taker when it comes to creativity, or being a risk taker when it comes to your personal glow up or harmony or balance. Okay. Or being very confident and having a glow up, updating your look, having confidence with your beauty. Now, far as the collective, when you have Venus in Aries, there's a lot of bold female figures that are going to make the headline. They're going to assert themselves publicly, challenging the norms or facing backlash. Very warrior like, but feminine energy. Or maybe there's a team, because Venus does represent team or a group is more Aquarius, but like a team or a partnership. And together, the partnership is being bold and being a warrior. So it could be like a couple kind of standing up for something. Okay. Fast moving financial markets, art that shocks our challenges, the collective, love and sex culture that could be shifting, outspoken and very empowered with that Venus energy, or global protests about feminist movements, about women being led protests, or bold statements in fashion, our activism driven by loss or love. Yes. Okay. So let me tell you the placements we have here. I'm like, should I show the chart? We'll show the chart and we'll move it along here so we can move fast. Oh. Okay. This is annoying. Come on, Dunya. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're going to move fast here, and I'm going to go over the dates that Venus is in Aries. Let me see the time. Ooh, I won't have time for horoscopes. I think I'm going to do the horoscopes in my next video for the new moon in Taurus and Venus. I am so sorry. It's only because I have to pick up my daughter, so I have to hurry up. But let me tell you about this Venus energy. So Venus enters Aries, and it's going to immediately conjunct Neptune. So you can be creative or you can be in Delululand. So this is going to happen, okay? But don't ignore any red flags. This is going to happen May 2nd. Now, on the 6th of May, then you have it that it's going to sextile Pluto. Right? So Pluto was acting up with everything else, but Pluto's going to work here, right? So this could be magnetic attraction, soul level desire, emotional intensity, strong chemistry, or a deep connection kind of energy. Is great time to transform your values. Now, on the 15th of May, which is my daughter's birthday, this is very positive because now Venus is trining Mars in Aries. So this is passion and pleasure is working with each other. There's harmony and desire. Great for romance, great for intimacy, great for confidence, great for creative expression. Confess the crush that you like. You can launch a new art project or maybe initiate that kiss, right? Also, too, that Venus is going to stop retrograding. This is the post shadow retrograde. It ends that day. So you have full clarity around love, full clarity about loving yourself. Money is you're going to naturally attract money the way that you normally naturally attract. Get dressed better. Who doesn't love that? Okay. And a lot of themes of relationships working better, commitment, creativity, and close chapters around love, beauty, and finances. Okay. And June 1st, there's the next time I see Venus doing something. And June 1st, we have Venus is conjunct Chiron. So now there is healing through self-worth and assertiveness. Okay. You bring the wounds that you had and you bring it to surface, and you're addressing, healing yourself through your identity and self, or maybe something new healing. A new healing is going to happen too. Now, June 4th, we have Venus is going to sextile Jupiter. These are, Jupiter sextiling Jupiter. No, Venus sextiling Jupiter. And these are both very positive planets. So you're talking about happiness, happy feelings in the air. I know I sound bad, but that is Frankie Beverly and Mays. But Venus sextile Jupiter is flirtations, abundance, positive growth in love and money. Say yes to the invitations. Say yes to the collaborations. Think big picture. Now, this is an energy that God's putting out there. You have to do the work. It's not going to land on your lap. So expand your circle, share your voice, receive joy. This is very happy, okay? Now, on the 5th of June, this is when things kind of end. On the 5th of June, it hits 29 degrees. Oh, it gets very, very serious, okay? Because Venus is like, I got to hurry up. I'm in Aries. I got to hurry up and finish stuff. And Aries likes to move fast anyway. So this is heightened energy, urgency, okay? And this is the final move to go after that thing that you have to do that is involving Aries, about yourself, about loving yourself, about starting something new, about being bold, about being that feminine, courageous self. And you don't have to be a female, but this is about with your partner and doing something very bold. All that is going to happen is like hurry the F up, okay? Now, in June 6th is when we have it entering Taurus. When it enters Taurus, you're talking about back to beauty, value, sensual groundedness, moving slow. You were moving too fast in Aries. Now you have to move slow, okay? Now, before I'm going to pull up the cards because I don't like to leave you hanging for us, the horoscopes. And before we pull in the cards, I just want you to if you're enjoying this, you're like, I relate to all this, all these things resonate, or it's going to resonate, you're feeling it, okay? And you're feeling this new moon, you want to know more about Venus in Aries, entering Aries. Now everything in this cosmos is working your way, and you're like, I want more. Remember, I have my ebook. Remember to join my group. All that gets way more detailed. So I'm going to pull tarot for all of my people. And I'm just going to, I don't even have time to put up the banners, okay? So I'm going to move fast. Aries, let me see. This new moon is happening in your second house. This is about your finances and your self worth. It's going to bring structure and stability for you. You're going to have some grounded energy. There will be a celebration for you of some sort. So that would be positive. Taurus, this is going to happen, and the new moon is going to happen in your first house. Mars is going to be in your fourth house of home. Pluto is going to be a transformation that's already happening, or intensity of happening in your career or your long term goals. It's all about you, right? There is a big shaking happening here with this new moon. You are depending on a false structure. You have to release that false structure. It's not working for you. That false structure could be stocks, okay? It could be something dealing with tariffs or something, but it's something that you're depending on and it's fake. It's an illusion. You have to depend on yourself. The things that God has already given you, your intuition, your creativity, your resourcefulness, because we talked about that in the new moon. And you need to have faith. Okay. Now, Geminis, this energy, my thing is not moving here. The new moon is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is about releasing, letting go, pausing, reflecting, resting. Okay. And we have the Queen of Brooms. This is the energy of being confident. So really focus on that Mars in the third house, about communicating. And you need to also have it with compassion and love too, as well. Cancer, this new moon is happening in your 11th house. So there is something about a community or something that's very futuristic or out of the box, or something with technology with this new moon, and you need to manifest that. There may be some drama around your finances because you are dealing with that Mars in the second house and Pluto in the eighth house. That's about finances and transformation and finances too. We have the Three of Pentacles. You have to collaborate, or you need to learn from others. Be open to that. Okay. Now we have Leos. The new moon is happening in your 10th house. That is about your finances. I mean, not your finances for your long-term goals or your career and your I'm sorry, I am out of it. About your future. The new moon is in finances, about your future. The new moon is about a community, a group. That could be happening. Now, the Pluto is in your eighth house. No, Pluto is in your seventh house of relationships. Mars is in that first house of self. Leos, of course. So a lot of fire and action towards yourself here. Now we have the Two of Cups in reverse, and I'm thinking that has to do with that Pluto in the seventh house. There's some type of intensity that this is going to cause when it comes to your relationship. If you are single, then it's talking about your inner harmony. Okay, so everything I discussed, have faith, be more optimistic, make the magic. Okay, be resourceful, especially when it comes to your inner harmony, some justice, some fairness, or your relationship. Okay, those are for my Leo. Virgos, the new moon is happening in your ninth house. And this is about your beliefs. This is about things that are beyond your world, okay? Your faith, your spiritual path, your long-term purpose. Mars is in that 12th house of releasing and letting go. Pluto is in that 6th house of work and routines. We have the Hangman. The Hangman is in reverse. You're not forgiving. You're not releasing. You're not letting go. You got to stop being stubborn. There's something there because the Hangman upward is releasing and sacrificing. And Virgo, you are a sacrificing energy, but you're not releasing, you're not letting go. So maybe you are stuck in a mental state of something and you need to release that. Okay, Libra, the new moon is happening in your eighth house. That's very intense. And there's a lot of psychological themes happening here, or themes of taboo things, like, you know, being a trash man or a prostitute or reading tarot. It's not bad. It's just something that's taboo according to the world. This also could be dealing with mystery or themes that money, finances that are dealing with shared finances, like your taxes or debt or an inheritance. Okay. Ooh, speaking of inheritance, it's going to work out really good for you for as finances. This is all my Libra risings. This is going to work well for you. I like that. I want that car. Okay. But yeah, but release the shame. And if there's any type of shame that you have because you are dealing with it, and then you have Pluto in the 5th house of self transformation, of self and self expression. You got Mars in that 11th house of the future and community. So all that is going to affect, but there's some money coming your way. Sagittarius risings, we have that new moon in the 6th house. And this is about standing your ground and persevering. Do not give up. Of course, with the Taurus new moon, you can't give up. You are Scorpio. You're very fixed. That it was working for you. Now you have Mars in the 10th house. You have Pluto in the 4th house. Pluto is changing your safety. It's changing your past. There's intensity about your past or your mom. That 10th house energy is all about your career and long-term goals. Okay, so all these things are going to be affected, but you have to persevere. You have to stay strong. You see, he's bandaged up, but he's still standing guard. Okay, so persevere. Use that Taurus energy to stay grounded. Sagittarius, new moon in the 6th house. This is your routines, your health, your daily discipline. Maybe you need to work out. Let's see what we have here. We have the 7 of brooms in reverse. No, this is a 6 of brooms. 6 of brooms in reverse. You are on stage, but you're not on stage. So take that ego down. I'm thinking that's dealing with that Mars in that 9th house of your philosophy, and you're like, everyone look at me. Well, no one wants to hear it. Okay, you were being praised, now you're not being praised. Keep that stuff more inward. Work on the ego, because that's what that's saying, is that you need to work on your ego. Now, Capricorns, we have this new moon happening in the 5th house, and deal with your health. Don't focus on everyone look at me. Focus on your inner you and your health. That's for Sagittarius. Capricorn, new moon in the 5th house. That 5th house is all about romance and joy and creativity. And we have 3 machetes. It looks like there's going to be a heartbreak. Someone's going to be disappointing you. Look at something that happened in your past and make sure you're not repeating in your future. You're dealing with deep issues around trust, intimacy, and power. Mars is in the 8th house. Pluto is in that 2nd house. This is again about finances. It's really strong, but it might be connected to romance, and there's a heartbreak here for you. What can you do? Research the truth. Have compassion with the reality of things, and knowledge, and learning some new information. Aquarius, this is for you. New moon is in that 4th house. Pluto is sitting there, right, in your 1st house too, and Mars is in that 7th house. So the new moon is about rooting into what home means for you now. Okay, healing your family patterns, creating a sanctuary aligned with you and your safety. There's a lot of support for you with this new moon. People are here to back you up. A lot of female support, even maybe a celebration of some sorts. But love, and helping you with your emotions. Pisces, the new moon is in your 3rd house, and with the new moon in your 3rd house, you're missing a message, Pisces. Okay, new moon in 3rd house represents message, but you're missing it. Maybe we're curious about something, but the curiosity got lost in the sauce. Yeah, you may be feeling caught between working, and emotional spiritual burnout. The new moon calls for new mental habits, communication boundaries, and fresh voices. Say what you mean, but also say what's true for you. Mars is in that 6th house of health and daily routines. This could be dealing with coworkers. Also, to Pluto in the 12th house is about releasing and God, okay, and really be connected to the self. And also, you could be having intensity of feeling alone or depression, or dealing with alcoholism. I want you to understand, new moon needs to communicate, and you need to focus on the value of communication. So that means if you need help, you need to say you need help. That means that you need to communicate anything that needs to be released and forgiven. Okay, that is what I have for everyone. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I still did the horoscopes, but I did them really fast, and I'm sorry. I'm going to send out in a newsletter. I might put the horoscopes in a newsletter, because I do this video and then I create the newsletter. So check out that if you want more details on the horoscopes. All right, I will see you guys later. Thank you. I will see you guys later, and see you next time, or hear from me next time. Bye.
Bye bye.